Hey guys, my name is Tabree and I'm your host of Small World or Small Minded. Hey guys, so I am 25 years old, born in 2000, in case you couldn't do the math. And I'm an African American woman. I've lived in Victoria, Texas most of my life. After high school, I was ready to leave, up and out. But even though I did leave, I am doing this podcast as a form of an assignment for my professional writing class. We are taking a community narrative to the next level. You may ask, what does that mean and what does that look like? And why would you even want to stay to watch? Hey guys, my name's Tabree and we're here with Small World or Small Minded. Today, I just want to take the time to talk with you about a growing issue in communities around the world. In communities like mine in Victoria, Texas, we have a need for growth and a need for change. I am 25, graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Communication with a minor in Psychology in less than 11 days. And you may ask, why do I even care about what this girl has to say? She's not like me, she doesn't look like me, she's not where I'm from. Well, the truth is, we all have problems within our community, and if we don't take a stand together, there's no way they'll ever get solved. So instead of bringing in different people to interview and to talk with you, I just want to have a conversation. What does that look like? What does change within your community call for? And what can you do to help? So for a girl like me in a small city that I feel doesn't cater to anyone like me, we have clubs, we have bars, which is fun if that's your gig. We take the time to pour into our elementary school kids, and then it feels like we dump off the others once they get to middle school. So from 6th to 7th and 8th grade, it's like we leave them alone just to pick them up back again whenever they get into high school. And then from high school, go be a young adult. Do whatever you want, but we'll chastise you the whole time. But no. Why are you leaving? Where are you going? It's your job to grow the community. Well, for a girl like me, that was the problem. When I graduated high school in 2018, the first thing I wanted to do was leave, and that's what I did. I went to Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and my goal was to get a degree in biomedical sciences. I wanted to be an anesthesiologist, right? Lots of life things happen, family issues, grief processes, and then the pandemic happened. And at that time, the world went online, and I didn't know what to do. I was fearful of online schooling. I didn't think that I could do it, and I ended up moving back home. After moving home and trying to figure out what was the next step for me in life, what did that look like? What did God have for me? It took me to working in retail, at a convenience store, all the way to a manufacturing plant where I was building excavators. Building excavators wasn't the worst part of it, though. A lot of it was the people who worked there. It seemed very high school, like they had aged, but yet had the same mentality and mindset. So I knew something like that wasn't for me. But through working at the plant, I got to see different resource groups and how people with higher education really did develop. And I knew I wanted to go back to school, but I just didn't know how that was going to happen. So from there, I started to wonder, there's something more out there for me. There's something in this community that can be mine. And I met a young guy from my job who was a communication major. I almost dropped my iPad. He was a communication major, and he did the regional communications, and I thought that was so interesting to have a career where you can talk to people. So from there, I decided I wanted to go back to school and I wanted to go for communications. That's something that kind of pulled my heartstrings. So that next January, quit my job after praying about it for a few months, and went back to school. People thought I was crazy. Oh my gosh, how are you gonna quit your job? How are you gonna live? How are you gonna survive? But through that, I got into pageantry as well. And in the midst of college and pageantry, I learned so much about my community. That there were people who wanted to help, there were people who were willing to help, and it didn't always look how I thought it would look. Looking back and looking over the years, hey friend, you wanna come say hello? Just come wave for my podcast. This is one of my classmates. He's a dear friend. Now leave. So back to what we're talking about. It's really interesting to see how your community can come together to help. It didn't look the way that I thought it would. The people I thought would be cheering and with glee to see me win and to see me triumph were the very ones who it felt like were distanced away. After I went to my international pageant in Las Vegas, I ended up moving out of the city. I had a lot of things happen really quickly, and I ended up moving with my aunt in Houston, and then from Houston to Georgia, and then from Georgia back to Victoria. But now that I'm here and back in person in classes, I've gotten to meet so many people, so many different resource groups, as well as interning with Habitat for Humanity locally. The world is so much bigger than we think. There are other communities and other towns with people that you don't know. And I want to implore you to take the time to find someone in your community that you've never met. Someone with a different outlook on life and hear them out. Someone who may have traveled or may have stayed home after school. Someone who has a different thought process than you and maybe has went about life a different way than you. Community comes through a relationship. And in the society that we live in now, it's become such a mindset of me, myself, and I. The person next to me doesn't matter, and the person next to them doesn't matter either. But when we come together and we see that there is only community when there is unity. There is only community when I know my neighbor's name. There's only community whenever I can go and I can borrow a cup of sugar or maybe an egg or two because I'm baking cookies. There's so much that happens within our community and we miss out because of lack of unity. We're so small-minded and thinking that it's only me and I'm the only one that matters. I want you to take a step out of your comfort zone. In a world of antisocialness, in a world of unsurety, I want you to go out and to find someone new, someone different, because you don't know everyone in your neighborhood and you don't know everyone around the corner. You can walk into a grocery store and pass hundreds of strangers and still have the nerve to say, oh, what a small world. The world isn't small, but you may be small-minded. And the only way to change that is by stepping outside of your comfort zone. So thanks for listening. If you got anything out of it, great. If not, oh well. But today, I want you to make a change. Be the change you want to see. I wanted to see a change so bad as though I started my own business. Tabree Enterprises. Doing more than just event planning, but social media and marketing, and even far beyond that with grant writing and fundraiser planning for nonprofits. The business that I created was because I saw a problem. I'm 25 and I'd hardly ever see things for people who are like me, who are young and want to mix and want to mingle and want to socialize and network, but don't want to go to a bar and don't want to go to a club. While I understand that's not the thing or the case for everyone, I believe that I'm not alone and that there are so many people who simply just want to meet new people. And that's how you form a community. That's how you grow. When you seclude yourself to the same people every day, you party with the same people, you talk to the same people, you go to church with the same people, your community can't grow. Not until you learn how to extend a hand and invite someone with you. I'm not saying it has to be this big grand gesture, but I am saying you have to take a step forward for change. It's not going to happen where you're at unless you're the one who makes the change. So thank you so much for listening. Small world or small-minded with Tabree. This won't be the last episode. This is only the first, and it's super short, letting you know who I am, what I do, and why I do it. Maybe next time you'll be with me, regardless if it's hiking a mountain, sitting by a stream, walking in the park, or going to church. Maybe I'll see you there. Have a good day.